Hello and welcome to the Civil War Project, where I'm retracing Civil War history one person, place, and event at a time. Because the build-up to the Civil War is just as important as the war itself, I'm launching a new weekly recap series that will post every Tuesday. So this is your first weekly recap, from Monday, January 3rd through Sunday, January 9th, 1859. If you haven't seen my videos on January 1st and 2nd, you'll find them on my YouTube page. So, let's talk history. Senator Jefferson Davis delivers a speech on his new Pacific Railroad bill to the Senate. Though born in Kentucky, Mississippi has been his home state since he was 2. A graduate of West Point, he was first lieutenant colonel in the Mexican War, a one-term congressman, Secretary of War under President Buchanan's predecessor Franklin Pierce, and is now serving his second term as a senator from Mississippi. While Secretary of War, he oversaw 3 studies that were to determine the best route for a railroad from the Mississippi River to the Pacific Ocean. He has long championed this endeavor and today presents a revised plan with lower costs in the hopes that it will pass. The Governor of Ohio, Salmon P Chase, provides his yearly State of the Union address, which kicks off his 4th year as governor. Born in New Hampshire, he studied to be a lawyer and moved to Cincinnati, Ohio. There, he represented freedom seekers and those who tried to help them. He was given the nickname Attorney General for fugitive slaves. He served as a U.S. Senator for one 6-year term, where he helped create the new Republican Party after the Kansas-Nebraska Act was passed in 1854. He's a staunch abolitionist and the first Republican governor in the country. While Chase's 1858 address contained his strong feelings against the 1850 Fugitive Slave Act and Bleeding Kansas, this year he focuses on the importance of schools, appropriate institutions for those who struggle mentally or physically, and rehabilitation for criminals. He highlights the successes the state has seen and spends a great deal of time focusing on the state budget and his concerns about the banking system. Near the end of his address, he simply states that his views on the momentous question of slavery, quote, remain unchanged and need not be reinstated. It's a strong address. As one of the Republican Party founders, the 50-year-old believes he is uniquely positioned to be chosen as the 1860 Republican presidential candidate. Near the Missouri-Kansas border in Trading Post, Kansas, John Brown writes to several major newspapers to justify his actions before he and the 11 freedom seekers make their way towards Canada. He starts by reminding the public about 11 men who were taken from their communities about a year ago, with their only crime being Free State men. Without trial, they were formed into a line and a firing squad fired as ordered. 5 died, 5 were wounded, and 1 pretended to be dead. All were left for dead. He writes that neither the president, governors, anyone really, had done anything to go after the men responsible. John then begins what he calls his second parallel. He writes how an enslaved man named Jim came to the Osage settlement and explained how he, his wife, 2 children, and another man were to be sold within a day or 2 and asked for help to get away. John Brown led one of the companies who went into Missouri the night of December 20th, 1858, with the intent of helping several enslaved persons to freedom. He talks about how they were taking property at one place until they realized the person was just a tenant, so they returned his stuff. He mentions one group taking 2 men as hostages but later releasing them. He then makes mention that one enslaver was killed when he drew his weapon on the group. John now compares the 2 events. His recent actions have been condemned, and men are gathering in Missouri to go after John, his fellow members, and possibly anyone who supports them. He obviously feels this is unjust, especially when compared to what happened last May. John is clearly trying to justify his actions as reasonable and all good, hence why he is taking his case to the public. The new cent coin is out for distribution. Prior versions were half the size of a half-dollar coin and were made of copper. The size has been reduced and is now more cost-effective with its 12% nickel, 88% copper composition. The engraving was designed by John Barton Longmaker out of Philadelphia. The face is inspired by the statue Crouching Venus, which was on loan to Philadelphia from the Vatican. Though it will be referred to as the Indian head cent, its features are meant to be that of a white woman. William Tecumseh Sherman has arrived in Leavenworth, Kansas this week, which is northwest of Kansas City. He's agreed to assist his brother-in-law, Thomas Ewing Jr., in his law practice, focusing on banking and real estate affairs. His wife and 4 children are back in Lancaster, Ohio. He feels lost and unaccomplished at the soon-to-be age of 40. The nearby military garrison makes him long for his old military career. On January 9, 1859, in Ripon, Wisconsin, a baby is born to Lucius and Marie Lane. Carrie is their second child. No one knows her destiny, but she will become one of the most famous international suffragists. She is key in getting the 19th Amendment passed in 1920, which allows women to vote. You may know her better as Carrie Chapman Catt. And those are just a few of the key things that happened the week of January 3rd through 9th, 1859. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell to receive notifications when future videos come out, whether it's for weekly updates or other videos that spotlight historical places, people, and events. Thank you for watching, and as always, I bid you an affectionate farewell.